Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. I know I keep saying this, but would you mind, please, like and subscribe? And your comments. Yes, do, folks. Leave your comments down below. Insults, the full Monty. Hit me with your rhythm stick. I'm going to talk today about Graeme Young. You know why? Well, not only did I know Graeme Young, but I've just seen a documentary on, I think it's Prime, Amazon Prime. It's called The Murder in a Teacup, I think it's called, or The Teacup Murderer, or something like that. But anyway, have a look at it, and I'll put a link down below to a video on YouTube about Graeme Young, who was a highly intelligent psychopath. And I met him at Wormwood Scrubs, and it was 1975. I'd only just joined the prison service, and I'd been posted to the Scrubs. And in my induction week, because they spend a week sending you around the prisons, you know, to get yourself familiarised with it before you actually go on to the landings. And I was in the hospital complex and sat next to the duty hospital officer, who said to me, John, he said, welcome to the Scrubs. He said, you're going to enjoy it here, you know. He said, let me get you a cup of tea. I said, oh, very nice of you. Yeah, so I sat in the hospital ward, you know, and he called this inmate over. He said, get Mr. Sutton a cup of tea. My friend John here, get him a cup of tea. So 5 minutes later, this inmate came back with a cup of tea and a couple of ginger biscuits. He said, there you are, Mr. Sutton. So, oh, thank you very much, you know, to this inmate. So I sat down chatting to the prison hospital officer who was in charge of the ward and dunked my ginger biscuits in the tea, and it was very nice tea, actually. I never take sugar, by the way. And so when I'd finished my tea, he said, how do you enjoy that, John? I said, it was a really nice cup of tea. He said, do you know who that inmate was who served you the cup of tea? I said, I've no idea. He said, oh, that's Graeme Young, you know, the poisoner. Seriously. Graeme Young made me a cup of tea. It took about 50 years for my hair to fall out, but it eventually did. I'll put that down to Graeme Young. But when Graeme Young was in the hospital ward at Wormwood Scrubs, he teamed up with Ian Brady, who was also a resident on the ward, having been badly scalded when he received a boiling water bath on D-Wing. A couple of 3 inmates held him down there and washed him down in boiling water. So he was recovering in the hospital complex. But alongside, because it was a hospital complex, it contained all manner of inmates, including young Borstal boys who'd been taken ill in the Borstal Allocation Unit, which was part of Wormwood Scrubs on B-Wing at Wormwood Scrubs. Don't forget this is 1975. And what happened was Ian Brady was still maintaining his perversions and was enticing these young Borstal boys into the toilet block where he was abusing them, and he persuaded Graeme Young to act as his watch out, as his little, you know, like let me know if any staff's coming, while he was abusing these inmates. Quite what he was doing to the inmates I didn't actually discover, but eventually he was rumbled and relocated to the segregation unit once he has recovered from his boiling water bath. So there was no remorse at all whatsoever in Ian Brady. What a horrible, dirty, nasty little shithouse he was. And Graeme Young, highly intelligent man, but he occasionally had incidences where he was completely as mad as a box of frogs. One night I was on duty there and I was in charge of 2 prisoners who had been allegedly setting out to murder high-profile individuals on behalf of the Irish Republican Army. And they were held in a prison within a prison inside the hospital unit. And they didn't know where they were. They were just stoned out of their minds, drunk. And in the padded cells, they'd put Graeme Young because he was having one of his moments. And all the way through that night, Graeme Young was singing, "Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do." Yeah, so he was screaming and shouting all night until it got to about 2 in the morning, and the hospital officer came down and pumped him full of Largactil or whatever it was, and that was the end of Graeme Young's singing. I didn't see him again for about 4 years, and then I was retraining with the National Health Service to become a hospital officer myself, and I was sent on secondment to Ashworth Hospital for the criminally insane to do a period of training there. And whilst I was in Ashworth Hospital, I went on to one of the wards, and up to me came none other than Graeme Young. And he recognised me. "Mr. Sutton," he said, "how nice to see you. How are you doing?" I said, "Oh, doing all right, you know. How are you, Graeme?" I called him Graeme, you know. He said, "John Sutton." He said, "I remember you, Wormwood Scrubs. 2 ginger biscuits and a cup of tea." He'd remembered it. I mean, all the people he must have met all that time, and he remembered me. Highly intelligent man. Mad as a box of frogs. He died at Parkhurst, I believe. They said he had a heart attack, but it's most likely that he either poisoned himself or poisoned somebody else. Strange thing was, while I was at Ashworth Hospital, he said to me, "I'm going to show you something." In his cell he had a copy of Mein Kampf, he had pictures of Hitler, he had a great big Nazi flag, and they allowed this in Ashworth Hospital, believe it or not. And he said, "I'm going to tell you something." He said, "You might be able to use this." I said, "Go on, Graeme, you do tell me." He said, "I'm going to show you how to poison somebody." He said, "and you'll never detect it." He said, "It's quite simple." And he went through this, how to actually make a deadly poison using a simple, everyday piece of everyday usage, an item that we use every day, or we used to use every day. And I won't disclose it here because it is absolute poison. But I said, "How is this going to benefit me, Graeme?" He said, "You never know." He said, "One of these days you might need it." I might need it. Watch it. Graeme Young murdered, I think it was 5 people, poisoned them using antimony that he put in the cups of tea when he worked for a company in near Aylesbury, I believe it was, in down south. Yeah, but we do watch it. I'll put a link down below. And I survived a cup of tea from Graeme Young. There you are. That's a little rant for today. I hope you enjoyed that little story. It's all in my book, by the way, the first one, Volume 1, HMP Manchester Prison Officer. You can see it down there. There's a link down below. And it's that time of day with the Song Dinger, yeah, which was kindly remembered by Larry, who wrote a nice little song which I played the other day. And he sent me this goat. "Goat, do you want to hear me sing?" I reckon that's a yes, don't you, folks? Yeah, so you've been warned. You've had the Song Dinger. I'll give you one more warning. Song Dinger. Are you ready? This is a song, I heard it originally by Joseph Locke. And Joseph Locke was originally called Joseph McLaughlin, you know. And he was from Derry in Ireland. And my wife's family's from Derry in Ireland. And my wife was also a McLaughlin. So I wonder if they're related. I believe that they may be. Mary McLaughlin, and he was Joseph McLaughlin. And this is a song that he sang. This is Galway Bay. I've been to Ireland many times. Really like Ireland. I like the Guinness there. A bit expensive, but hey, you're not going to drink more than 10 or 15 pints, are you? Here we go. This is Galway Bay. So he'll be spinning when he hears this. If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over Cladder and see the sun go down on Galway Bay, just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream, the woman in the meadows making hay, and to sit beside a turf fire in the cabin and watch the barefoot gossans at their play. For the breeze is blowing o'er the seas from Ireland, are perfumed by the heather as they blow, and the women in the uplands digging praties speak a language that the strangers do not know. For the strangers came and tried to teach us their ways. They scorned us just for being what we are, but they might as well go chasing after moonbeams or light a penny candle from a star. And if there's gonna be a life hereafter, and somehow I am sure there's gonna be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea. Tales from the Jails, folks, with John G. Sutton. I sincerely hope you did like and subscribe. Have a look at that documentary about Graeme Young. Absolutely mad. Quite as crazy as a box of frogs, but highly intelligent. Tales from the Jails.